thank you guys for coming out here today. We really appreciate it.
Of course.
It's always good to see you guys.
Yeah. Always good to be in home turf.
But yeah, this to me is kind of, I look back like 12, 13 years ago, and I think of, what was it, the Perfect Bar. And they had the whole family at the booth. And it was when they just started. And it's before they had major distribution and all that. I think they just got into Whole Foods. And that's the type of show this is to me. It's the type of show where you have that one particular brand or multiple particular brands trying to get into the marketplace. And they kind of like make that splash here at the beginning of the year. And they kind of forge their way through. And you kind of have that every year here. And this year I look at this show and I look at like Farrell, for example. And it's like, that's that brand, you know? And I get tingles when I think about it because I've known Jeff for a long time and great guy. Couldn't happen to a better group of people over there between him and the brothers.
Well, it's funny you say that because I feel a lot of people start neglecting the LA market. And I don't know if obviously Farrell's not from here. So they're willing to go across country and set up. And then, you know, so many brands that are local and they're not tapping into this local market. And I don't know if it's now because everyone just lives on the internet. No one thinks like, hey, own your own market, you know?
But LA Fit kicks off, you know, the whole cycle of shows for our industry, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's January 10, I think, right now. And, you know, it's based on foot traffic. It's pretty busy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously not the Arnold, it's not Olympia, but...
Not the biggest show on turf.
But in terms of consumer fitness shows, easily top 5 in the U.S., right?
Yeah, I would think so. I've been going to it since I was in high school. And for reals, we used to be like 15, 16. It was the funnest weekend, we thought. But before, the brands used to give you so much stuff. So you came here with bags and you're like, all right, I know I don't need any supplements till March because someone's going to give me so many samples and I'm going to try this Eno Explode. I'm going to try this freaking Red Line. All these different stuff, and then you try it, and you're like, all right, they gave me so many samples, I'm good for a month. And then you try other samples, and then you found brands you liked, and you go, oh, I would have never tried this flavor. But it seems like no one wants to give anything away now. And is it just that expensive to make samples, and no one wants to give that away?
Things are a lot more expensive nowadays, so people just don't want to, you know, have to cough up the extra funds. I mean, doing these shows, the booth alone costs more and more every single year. So I can't really say I blame them, but you know, there's still some of the brands out there that are dishing out, you know, free goods for the consumers to try. So, but yeah.
Seems to come with like a line.
Yeah, I missed the Red Line though. I missed the original Red Line. It's funny you bring that up, man.
VPXs,
Back with
Dude,
those, back with the, you know, ingredients were, you know, legitimate. Those were good.
I remember the first time it was like 2013 was the first time I did LA Fit Expo for NuLiv. I remember pitching Red Line, and I thought, oh, I have this estrogen. He's like, what's that gonna do? Grow my ass? and this is like
This
the
is
first
Jack, right?
Yeah,
Jack.
I'm pitching. I'm just like, no. 'Cause I didn't know if what if someone wants booty gains? So I was like, no. And he was like, all right, just give me your card.
He was just busting your...
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
right?
But I just didn't know if he was like, is he being serious or not?
Dude, the first time I ever tried a Red Line, I remember like it was yesterday. I bought it at a mobile station and I downed it. And I remember calling or texting Dawn and I said, man, I just had a Red Line. And he said, don't drink the whole thing. And I started freaking out because my bottle was empty and I'm seeing the beads of sweat coming down my face in the mirror. And let me tell you, that was the first time I actually thought I was going to die after having a freaking energy drink. I mean, they don't make them like that anymore.
Does anyone
my
ever
God.
come to you guys with an old product and say, I want to make it like this old formula?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Jack or
Orange,
something?
yeah,
We
we've
do
had
get
that
that.
happen before.
Yeah, we do get that. And
What
obviously there's no replacements for some of those
Right.
older ingredients.
What about
but-
geranium oil?
Geranium?
Do you guys get pitches for that? Like, hey, can you make my product with that?
No. I mean, unless you see some of that, I don't see any of
No,
that. anymore.
yeah, it still comes across the table. Like I actually had a gentleman that hit me up on our info line, which I review a lot of our info emails to see if it's worth our time, and then either I'll take it on or, you know, I'll dish it to some of our sales managers to see if they want to take it on. But one of them I looked at and I went on their link on their website, just about anything and everything that's banned in the world was on this website. I'm like, yeah, sorry, we can't help you out there. So, yeah, it had all the old school stuff on there, which is crazy that some of the stuff is still out there selling. It's wild.
For LA Fit, would you say you guys have a lot of clients here? Like a good amount of the booths were Simpson Lab clients?
Yeah, yeah. It's nice to see a lot of the newer brands out in the marketplace. Like earlier, there was one of the brands that we work with that you don't know, and now you have that kind of connection. You have that kind of conversation where they might be at a certain place with their brand, and might be real. Okay, how do we make the most cost-effective product here? Which is great. And then as you get the product going, it becomes bigger and bigger. People start saying, how do we make this product a lot better than the competition? And that's obviously where I feel like that conversation comes in with you guys. We can use the estrogen, we can use those patented trademark ingredients that you guys have to elevate that particular brand.
As you guys have been expanding your media, do you feel like when I first started working with you guys, not every brand wants to say where they manufacture, right?
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
what
just
it used
that
to be. I always wanted
now
to hide it.
they want to hide that, right?
Yeah.
But now it seems
Huge.
that people want to
Huge.
kind of say, I manufacture with you guys because you guys are building your own stage and showing, hey, this is top-notch manufacturing.
Absolutely.
Are more brands or your newer customers open to sharing, I manufacture at
Yeah,
Simpson?
they are. And you're not wrong in the beginning. Yeah, when we first started 10 years ago, it was like that. Nobody really wanted to, know where people were manufacturing their stuff. And, I would get the same thing. Well, oh, this guy's my competitor. This guy's my competitor. And I don't want them knowing that we're working together. Look, at the end of the fucking day, everybody is a competitor with one another. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. But as time progressed and we were, blessed to be able to grow the way we have organically over the last decade, we started getting, more entwined and more connected and more, personal relationships with a lot of these brands that we're working with. And most of them are open to, doing content and showing where the product's being manufactured, which, it's definitely very humbling that, our brands would want to let the world know where their stuff's being manufactured. But to go back to what you're saying, in this day and age where everything is so transparent,
Yeah.
it's almost like, well, why don't you want to tell me where your product should be
Yeah.
manufactured?
Yes.
What are you hiding? People want to know that their product should be made in a, certified quality manufacturing company like ours. We open up our doors. I tell our customers all the time, even if they don't want to post about us, if they don't want to mention to their, consumers who they're manufacturing with, that's fine. But I still want them to come to the shop, meet the team, do the tour, look at the facility, because we want them to leave warm and fuzzy when they leave, knowing that their product's being manufactured, in a nice
Totally.
clean establishment.
And get a Rams game in.
Rams, Chargers, Dodgers, Lakers, Kings. We try to have fun with it all. But
Dude, you hit a good point. I remember for the longest time, people, they pretended like it was some kind of secret sauce.
Or is their own lab?
Yeah, their own recipe.
Yeah.
And and nobody wanted to
Combination of
show it. And then I think you guys were one of the first contract manufacturers. Like, okay, here's our line. Here's the customer walking through our line, putting it out there. Nothing to hide, right? Nothing to.
That's what it is. Nothing to hide. Yeah.
And then now you're seeing brands like, yeah, we manufacture at this Coleman, we manufacture at Simpson. Like, it's something. It's more of like an asset now versus something like that was hidden as a secret before. you
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
I think that's part maybe of what you guys are doing, and hopefully also part of the transparency. Says, in that age of information, everyone kind of knows a little bit of everything.
Well, in other countries, it goes even further. Like if you pick up a legit product in Mexico, it has to say in the back where it's manufactured. So as a sales guy that's selling ingredients, I could turn everything around and go, oh, wow, I know exactly who to contact
Yeah.
to sell my ingredients to.
Nano.
Right? It's not like I could turn around a product and be, oh, man, it has Eric and Eric's email. But like in other countries, it has the email, has the lab that made it, besides the brand that's selling it. So
Yeah.
I think it just seems more and more transparent, and it's more confidence for the consumer to say, okay, this is going to work for me. I look at it as in like the fuel protein you guys make, right? Like to me, when someone asks me, you give that to your kids? I'm like, dude, I know who the fuck makes this. Like I could probably ask him like, hey, who worked on this batch?
Yeah.
Like how, you can't say that about most things you give your kids.
Absolutely.
When you feel, as in panda feel, right?
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go. Shout out Merb.
Yeah, they're a great group to work with.
yeah. Maribot, Jeff, Tom, excuse me. Those guys are super amazing. But yeah, back to what you're saying. Back in the day, you used to had to put who was the manufacturer, and then it changed to, well, now you just have to put the city and state and zip code, and that was mandatory. And now I think all of that is just out the door. You just
What
have to
seems just like the
manufacture
brand's
for-
info.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you want to get a hold of us, PO box here, existing nowhere.
Yeah.
But now, and in this day and age, though, it's kind of hard to hide everything because, you know, if you're using just generic materials, you know, whatever, but if you're using patent ingredients, everyone's got to sign TMLAs.
Yeah.
Right.
Which means that whole company knows, oh, well, this guy's making this guy, and then this
Yeah.
guy's going to talk to this guy. And eventually people can start asking questions and asking around, you know, in our industry. It's a small industry, but a big industry at the same time. They'll find out who's what.
That's one of the reasons I bugged him so much about doing media. That I was like, man, there's media channels out there. Hey, look at this new brand thing. But dude, we've known about that product for a year before it hits the shelf because they had to sign the trademark, right? But we don't have a media channel to say, as soon as this hits the shelf, let's put out a video. And that was our plan. We're like, hey man, all these media channels are so late to the game, and then they think they're huge influencers in the game. So it's like, why not let's talk about what we know? And obviously we can't say disclose what a customer doesn't want us to disclose.
Right.
But now we're able to kind of time it more where, all right, this brand is going to launch something and it has our ingredients. So we're able to talk even more about the product and launch with them.
Right. And I think our relationship, the relationship we have together, it all coincides with that. So if you have White Lion in town, he comes to our manufacturing plant for a day, does a tour and stuff like that. We're talking good about you. You're talking good about us. Next thing you know, he's at your facility.
Yeah.
Right? He's on your podcast. He's doing the podcast. I feel like it all kind of connects. It's like a whole ecosystem now. And I love it. I actually love it because
I know
the
what you was gonna
transparency and people being able to like see it now, it separates you in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we want to work with those guys because those guys are making the best products.
Dude, so Joe Rogan's clip recently with Bradley Cooper, they're talking about comedians in the 90s, right? It was cutthroat competition. Everyone's backstabbing each other, right? Because everyone's trying to get that one sitcom deal or that one Tonight Show host, right? Whereas comedy these days is about like, okay, if he's funny, he comes on my podcast, I go on his podcast. Everyone
Work together.
Your competition now is in some ways you're also your assets, right? Like everyone could grow together, right? And all right, like what you said, our industry is big but so small at the same time, right? So like someone at another brand might go to another brand. There's some musical cheers going on in our industry, right? So you never know where that person's gonna end up. So long as you're smart about it, you take a long view of things, you be generally a decent human being, a decent business person, like it's gonna work out in the end, you know?
Yeah.
I like that part of it. I don't like the musical trolls. And the musical trolls are the people who watch this, and you know who you are right now, and I am talking about you. Long story short, when they watch the podcast, they're all of a sudden trying to quote our clients' products.
Oh.
And it's just like you're that lazy.
Yeah.
So you mean
Like
that
go out
they may have
and
never
actually
known
work for
the
it.
content?
You know what I mean? Like go out and work for it.
You're gonna say
It's all good. It's all good. I mean, it's all
You're saying
good.
brand ABC, right? And I'm another manufacturer, and I saw brand ABC on your podcast,
Oh, they
and
just
I
start quoting
and
them.
I didn't even know the
Here's
owner
worst part.
before.
They start quoting them at prices that aren't even
wow.
realistic. So it's like
just
just
fish
to
them
play
over.
the game.
Wow.
It's a game. People, they'll get you in the door, at
So
cost.
there's the good,
Eventually
right?
They'll raise the price.
There's the bad, and there's the ugly or the indifferent.
That's
right?
something that we
So
never
that
see.
I never thought about
that's
that.
something where like we were actually just talking about it before you guys came on here, and I'm like, wow. I mean, that guy he's that lazy.
Yeah, as you're building, you're kind of exposing, hey, this is the main contact of this brand.
Yeah.
And now that lazy sales rep is like, well, I'm just going to contact that guy that I saw on the podcast, right?
Hey, we might have to think
Wow.
about
No, people are ripping us. I saw a supply side. I told Richard, I was like, whoa,
Real is
okay.
rare, boys.
No, I was
keeping it real right here.
keeping it
Gotta
real.
Keep it real, guys.
Real is rare. I saw
Otherwise, it
a lot of
doesn't fly.
brands using our playbook from 2023, 2024,
hell yeah.
and I was like, okay, well, at least pay us something, or watch what we do, and you're gonna be doing it in 2027.
But it's it's a compliment, right?
Yeah,
At
yeah,
the same time, too, I look at my team, I look at who we have working for us, and we can check every box in every department. They're not going to be able to compete.
yeah.
And I love competing. In
And
the
I think
marketplace,
there's-
and that's where you win, is in the marketplace. Who's going to win in the marketplace?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when you have a team of people around us like Eric does and myself, I can promise you we're going to eventually beat you. Like
And-
you were saying earlier, right?
Yeah.
About the whole Chinese philosophy.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
Yeah.
share it with the room.
Yeah, well, we were in the, first of all, I do have to fully disclose, we are in the Ritz freaking Carlton. So it was my first time ever stepping into a Ritz-Carlton lounge. I didn't even know there was such a lounge, and there's free alcohol, and there's free hors d'oeuvres. I'm like, holy crap, right? So, but we were talking a little bit there, and it was like, to go on a slight tangent here, right now we're in the middle of a trade war, right, so to speak. But when you look at certain cultures and certain institutions, they don't follow our election cycle, so they're not beholden to a 2-year, 4-year, or even 8-year term.
Yeah.
And when you also look at certain cultures, they're willing to take a very, very long view on things to win, even if it means 20, 30 years to win, because the culture has been around for 10,000 plus years. So it's something that running a business, as you guys run your business, right, instead of taking a short view of how you treat customers, how you treat your team, likewise for NuLiv, I'm like, we don't need to extract everything, and we don't need to pursue maximal shareholder wealth. I think there's enough to spread, especially as the tide's rising, right? And there's all ships. So I think taking a long view, like
Long game.
get a good example. There's a brand that we've known forever now, for going back to 11 years. I think just now we sent them a sample, like
Long game.
11 years of talking to this person, right? Finally, he took a sample finally, right? So, and we just see, like, if we're gonna be in the space for a while, hopefully, God willing, for a long, long time, then we may work together 6 months from now. We may work together. We may work together 6 years from now. We don't know, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But also the long game too is like, we're not looking for any strategic investors. You're not looking for any strategic investors. We're in a place right now. We've worked our whole life to get to this point in business, and I think everybody's been successful independently in this room, but doing it with a freaking team of people, and being the best for quality, being the best for regulatory, being the best at sales, being the best at fulfillment. It's awesome, and winning with a team like that, to me, that's the ultimate in business. And that's, like, to me, the long game is like, like, we're at a point right now with the business where it's like, you've worked your whole life to get here. You've worked your whole life to get here. And we're having the best time we've ever had in our career. Yeah. And it's like, the investors and stuff like that, I have no interest.
I think when we're at events, I see Jesse, I'm like, whoa. It's rare to see, like, a operational person hanging out at a client-facing event,
I love that.
So for you guys to just be able to extend that, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, Jesse's great. We worked together at the first company we were at, 15 years ago, and he started off in shipping and receiving. So to see where he's grown from that position to now being, vice president of operations, it's, kudos to him. He's worked his ass off.
He has a VP title?
Got a VP title.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been bringing up to all the shows for years, meeting with the clients, just kind of understanding, more outside the operation, but what it takes to get the customer from beginning to end, from everything. So yeah, when we first opened Simpson Labs 10 years ago, obviously Jesse was one of the first hires. It was just him and I at our first Expo West trip in Anaheim. And it was just him and I. It was it. And
full suit, by the way. He had a full suit on. No, I'm serious. Have you ever seen this dude in a suit ever?
No, never.
I got a picture somewhere. I'll dig it up, but it's rare.
Overlay.
Yeah. But
because once I got that first customer,
get you that picture, homie.
It had to be one of the
sorry.
suits too.
The zoot suits. Yeah.
I mean, nobody can believe this, but I had to get it out there. Eric, back to what you were saying. I'm sorry.
It's true.
Man.
But yeah, it was pouring fucking rain. And Jesse and I spent so much time, because back then there was only 10 of us. There was only 10 employees, so we had to do it all. Pre-weigh, blend, fill, pack, whatever it was. Him and I came with boxes and boxes of samples of packets of proteins and pre-workouts and aminos, and they were all labeled. And we sat through and passed it out to as many people as we possibly could at this show. I mean, we're just drenched, soaking wet from the rain. We're passing out samples left and right. And it got to the point to where, like, nobody wanted to talk to us. Nobody gave two shits who we were. And it was just, it was tough. But we powered through it, and we did the whole weekend with it. And then as time progressed, things changed, and we started getting our name out there a little bit more. And now people started wanting to work with us. And now the attention was kind of, on the opposite side, which was super humbling. But I say that going back, Jesse, he saw what it took from the very beginning, just trying to get samples out and what we had to do to get our name out there in the industry. And luckily it ended up working out. And he's been coming to, a majority of all the shows with us, since day one. So it's been great. But yeah, he actually goes to more shows than I do. he does. It's rare that I exit California to go to any type of show, but Jesse's always down to go to all of them. So
I'll rep the ops side.
yes.
I mean, Ken came on in 2012 from a Craigslist ad.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah,
Let's hear more about the
Craigslist?
Ken.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Being a part of the team. Because honestly, before I met you, I thought Ken was the owner of the company.
He looked
Because
like
he was at every single trade show, and he was everywhere, and so on and so forth.
I put a Craigslist out.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't even afford Monster.com back in the day. Because it was like $5 to put an ad out. We hired 3 people. One person literally could not put his shoe together. I remember the shoes were mismatching. That was crazy.
Yeah, you got like a round shoe and a like square shoe.
And a box
like
shoe.
dressy shoes.
Yeah. So Ken won that battle with the 3 salespeople. This is 2012. Ken's working the doors, right? Because we were trying to sell the practitioners at the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was going to chiropractors and acupuncturists trying to sell them cordyceps.
Yeah, because we took cordyceps, we put it in little capsules, right? After like 6 months, he's like, man, this job effing sucks. Like, put me on something else, right? So we started doing ingredients, and then him and I ran like our social in like 2013, 2014. Right? So, I mean, in 2013, we're doing athlete outreach, influencer outreach, right? And like going back to what you said, like it's just like building block after building block. There's no growth without discomfort, right? So I think when you guys talk to your brands, or when other people go, oh man, Eric, Donnie, dude, you guys are at the Ritz, bro. Like, bro, it took me 25 years to get here, right? It wasn't like overnight,
Yeah.
So I think they're really. I say this all the time. Like, if it's hard, it's probably good. But if it's easy, then anyone else in the world can do it, and then it's not good anymore. So I always preach this to them: if it's hard, man, you're probably onto something, But so just keep at it,
Yeah.
But we have to have that long view of like grinding smartly, but eventually we'll get there, right?
Yeah, and look at you guys now. Everybody knows who you guys are in this industry.
Yeah, we're trying to. I honestly think that at least in sports nutrition, we have the people that care about their products covered. If they don't care, like, it's not that we don't care, but it's like, all right, man, if you don't care to have estrogen in there, that means your customers doesn't care. And it's not going to hurt us. It's eventually. That's the way we look at it, eventually.
Donnie brought this up in the Fancy Lounge. There's brands that start out, and as they grow, after they prove as I think you can say it better than I can.
Well, as they get to a certain point, it's like, okay, I want to work with this raw material company because they are working with all the premium players in the marketplace, and I want to work with this manufacturer because they are working with all the premium players in the marketplace. And that's going back to what we were saying earlier with the transparency and everybody being able to see who you're working with on these collaborative projects. I will say one of the best projects we did this past year was with the CBUM and the Raw team and Ike and all them over there. That was an amazing project. Yeah, that was the most engagement we ever got on social media, right? I want to say
that was a lot of hits.
Yeah. Ike was my first customer. Same thing. LA Fit Expo. I came up to him, and they had just split up and become ProSubs. And I was like, hey man, I'm brand new. I just got started. He goes, let me see. And he's like reading the business card. He goes, oh, we're brand new too, man. I'll give you a call. He calls me the following week. He's, I'm gonna make this product. It was an NO Drive 3. It was estrogen and Synactive capsules. And one of my first sales was like ProSubs. I was like, it was so cool. I was like, whoa, it worked. I talked to him. He gave me his card. I sent info, sent samples, and it ordered.
Damn, I got you started.
Yeah.
Oh, you owe him one.
I know. I can TJ. That's why I always love seeing what he's up to.
Yeah, he's doing great. I mean, they're doing big things over there. That whole company's on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
When I look at like, as far as brands that have kind of separated themselves in the marketplace, you know, they've them, and they've kind of crossed over to that first form status now. They're like, that's like
the pillars in the industry.
Those two, Jocko, those three would be like three of the bigger pillars, I think, right now.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think? Bucked Up's huge. I know that's the one you guys do a lot. But Bucked Up's doing really well.
I think in the powder business, you got Ghost still. You have Bucked Up.
Obviously, yeah.
Bucked Up, Course Raw, First Form. I mean, who else we put up there? I mean, Alpha Line's killing on the D2C side.
Yeah.
I mean, Animal's been Animal for 20 plus years.
Yeah, EHP's been.
EHP.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
they've made a huge splash.
That's true.
I'm sure there's a few. I mean, Gorilla Mine went like this, and then they kind of leveled off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who else would you throw up in there?
I don't. It's hard because it seems like as supplements get more popular, it's almost like clothes, where you're gonna go to your demographic,
Right.
right? And it's so personal. I don't know. I always think supplements. It's really funny because it's the person that owns a supplement brand. It's almost like I'm so fit. You need to take what I take. You know, so it becomes so weird because it's like
Ken could go off on this.
oh yeah,
Well, it's not relatable for us
yeah,
because
that,
you want to buy from somebody who has 4 kids or 2 kids.
not
has a
necessarily
job
that.
or-
It's more of what I've never understood, and it's the blessing in the industry that one brand gets to a certain point, and sometimes there's someone working within that brand that says, "No, I have a better idea." Like we all know brands that are huge today that just spun off another brand. Right. And what I've always seen is that, man, what I tell our sales guys, you got to sell to the ego. You tell them, hey, man, you use estrogen, you use inactive, and now it's just marketing versus marketing. And every person goes, yeah. And then my marketing's the best. So I just got to manufacture a Simpson. So manufacturing is even, use the same ingredients. So now we're even. And now it's just marketing versus marketing. And then they go at it like a Nike and Reebok, like a Nike and Under Armour. And I feel like that's where supplements gets to. Where they get to a place where, all right, manufacturing is at an even keel, ingredients at even keel. Now it's just marketing versus marketing.
There's another huge brand flying really low right now, Transparent Labs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're I would say top 5 in the powder biz.
Yeah.
It's hard, right? Because a lot of them are privately held or investment held. But we're talking about brands, at the 9 figures or above level game, excluding drinks. Rise is up there, but I don't know what their powder is.
Yeah, that's also they've made a huge splash rise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people start on the supplement side, and this is the interesting part when you think about it. If you look at all the biggest beverage brands out there right now, the majority of them all started on the supplement side. They were supplement brands first, and then they became, beverages second. And then once they got into the beverage space, everybody knows this. You need a strategic in the beverage space, otherwise you're going to get destroyed. And all the ones that I know of have found good strategics, and it's allowed both businesses to grow the right way.
Yeah.
Now, when you don't have that, you have the supplement company just getting drained from the beverage company.
Yeah.
Because it's a war, the beverage space. It's not easy to make it in the beverage space unless you're in with Anheuser-Busch or some of the Diageo, some of these larger alcohol distributors. It's very, very difficult to make it in that space.
I remember when we were talking to Dan, when he came to us, and he had a idea. He's like, he's launching his energy drink. And then he said, don't worry. 'Cause we're like, man, energy drinks are hard, right?
Yeah.
We don't know anything about food and beverage. And he's like, don't worry, I have a marquee partner, distribution partner. I'm like, I had to Google, like, what does marquee mean? I was like, but then I'm like,
That's great.
6 months later, like, oh, okay, it's AB InBev. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of hard to go wrong when you already have access to that many C stores and locations.
So they had that relationship, though, and they backed off on it, right? So they had that relationship at first.
Now it's KDP, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So they basically went away from the AB relationship, right? And they went to KDP.
Yeah.
Which that's pretty powerful. I mean, he basically told Anheuser-Busch to go punt.
Well, like what you say, you need a really big strategic to bring it back, right? Especially strategics, as he said, specializing in cold, right? So.
Yeah.
Well, I think the sodas companies just have more distribution at the end of the day than an alcohol.
Yeah. Oh,
It's January 10th, 2026. What do you guys see happening this year?
More efficiencies, more build outs, more analytical testing, more podcasts.
Yeah.
With protein,
Yeah.
is whey going to outperform clear? Is clear here to stay?
It's all about
The whole thing's
how much they could actually make,
Yeah.
right?
The whole
So
thing's a shit show.
supply and demand right now, there's just not enough supply, and the demand's to the roof. Like we got an email yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what? I'm not going to say the manufacturer of the actual raw material, oh, they got the Starbucks deal, so all your isolate protein's going up. Like it's just,
Wait, really?
oh yeah, absolutely. We got the email yesterday.
So is Starbucks getting a deal with everyone?
Starbucks
supplies
supposedly
protein?
consuming a lot of the isolate in the marketplace, therefore people's prices are
The
going to go up.
WPI 90?
Yeah,
Yeah, but a lot of the WPI 90 also is being used to make clear. So
Absolutely.
a lot of the clear beverage, companies are part of the reasons why there's such shortages and why the cost is up there. And then on the concentrate side, WPC, all the functional foods now, your cookies, your brownies, all those different aspects, the bars, it's just consuming so much of the allocations, and these protein manufacturers, they just can't keep up with supply and demand. So price just
So
keeps
it's only
going
going
up.
to keep
roof.
going up.
yeah. So we're doing a lot with other ingredients now, like the beef proteins and things of that nature. It's the milk proteins. Like we're trying to find alternatives for our customers. So we have a lot of good things done in R&D already with alternatives. And then obviously put some collagen in there as well too helps. Maybe do a 50-50 blend or 75-25 blend. But yeah, it's not, I mean, protein pricing is going to continue to go up from what we can see, and it's not coming down anytime soon, unfortunately.
Because would you say it's tripled in the last 5 years? WPC 80?
Oh my God.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
But protein prices haven't tripled to the consumer. I was thinking when I go to Target,
Well, I
my
think
2 pound
everyone's
tub is
taking haircuts. Like
Yeah.
us as a manufacturer, trimming
Yeah.
our margins. It was already tight as it was to get for the get go. Now it's even tighter. And then you got the actual brand owners that are making less margins. It all trickles down. And yeah, the consumer is getting hit with some of the additional costs, but not as much as you think that they're probably getting. So it's just a balancing act. I mean, some of these brands are not budging on their pricing, and they're just trying to just wait it out, which I don't think is a smart move this year, because as John was saying, the price is going to continue to go up throughout the year. So
You mean they're not budging like on their website price?
yeah.
Oh.
But I was actually shopping around at Vitamin Shop the other day, just grabbing some samples to work on or get some of our drinks, and I act like an idiot when I'm at Vitamin Shop.
Yeah.
They just talk to me. They don't know who I am. They don't
Go
know
incognito, right? No,
Yeah, they have no. They have
Yeah,
no
the
idea.
blonde wig and everything.
And these guys, they'll try and sell me stuff and this and that, and I'm like, first off, you have no idea what you're talking about. But second off, I just was asking them like, hey, have you seen any protein prices go up? They're like, oh my God, yeah, like all these proteins are going up. We got this 5-pound tub over here. It's going up $25 a unit. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So it's definitely trickling down to the stores as well. But, how much, it's hard to say.
Wow.
So if you're a brand and you guys are seeing that it's not going down anytime soon, you're going to have to start, I guess, making strategic compromises?
Yeah, we're
Or I guess alternative
as what
proteins?
Don was saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
alternative proteins, different combinations. Trying to keep with the same elemental, but most importantly, making sure that the taste is there, the effectiveness, dissolvability. There's a lot of different parameters that have to take place in order for it to meet the criteria. So
Remember we were talking to Kyle, what was Perfect Day?
Mhm.
They had like a
The fermented protein?
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So he was saying that as WPI keeps going up, their proteins starting to make it into the supply chain because it mimics WPI 90 in terms of what
Non-dairy whey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
everybody wants a non-dairy whey, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a dream come true.
It's kind of like a Ferrari at a Honda price.
Right.
No,
Right.
a very
We've
nice
actually, fortunately, the R&D team here, we got some really good mixability and taste on that product. So yeah, that's something that is very similar to the whey, like
Yeah.
the mixability and taste. So
Yeah, we've used it before a few times on a couple projects with Kyle. Yeah, good product. So
I think he's sold out for like 2 years though.
Yeah. They're committed.
Right?
Yeah.
I think they're committed for like 2 years.
So,
That's crazy.
so
Yeah,
are you
right?
guys allocating your customers on protein production?
it's tough. Yeah, a couple months ago, all of a sudden it's like WPC skyrocketed overnight. It just happened out of left field, and everyone's scrambling and freaking out. And meanwhile, all these protein suppliers are sitting there waiting to see, okay, well, who's going to put the benchmark? Who's going to set the price? So all the rest of the guys can follow and make sure that they're, being competitive with the market with everybody. So it was about 4 weeks before the industry found out how much WPC was actually going to go up. It just kept trickling, a quarter, 50 cents. No, it's going to be $1. And all of my customers, are sitting here like, well, we need updated quotes. I'm like, I can't give you updated quotes because we can't even confirm what the price is going to be at yet. So it was real dark for about 4 to 6 weeks until we were able to finalize the pricing, get a bunch of trucks locked up for Q1 and Q2, and then we could start reissuing, updated quotes to everybody. And man, jaws were dropping, people were crying. I was crying. I mean, it was, a big cry fest, and it sucked. But, all we can, do is try to, work with each other the best we can to keep the pricing, as low as possible and, still maintain that top tier quality. So it's, yeah, proteins are going to be tough in 2026.
Didn't creatine have a similar problem like a year or two ago?
Pandemic or
Yeah, the pandemic. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the two major creatine manufacturers that were out in China shut down during COVID, and then when they were trying to bring back the staff, most of them either worked somewhere else, or I don't remember how it went down, but I think that factory ended up closing. So now the whole world was shortage on their creatine aspect, and it was really tough. I mean, we went from paying $4 a kilo for like ever since I could fucking remember. I mean, the shit went all the way up to nearly like $30 a kilo
for creatine monohydrate.
Creatine. Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, we were prepaying
$30?
containers like a $500,000. Yeah, it was insane. It was insane.
But
meanwhile,
it's normalized now, right?
Yeah, everything's stable now. But I keep telling my staff, my procurement team, keep stocking up. I want hundreds of thousands of freaking pounds on order at all times. Because had I known then what was going to happen, I would have put every dime in the world that I had to my name and bought as much creatine as possible.
Because we're seeing creatine go from like a bodybuilding supplement.
Yeah.
Into like everyday, like my wife takes creatine.
Yeah,
there's
all sorts of studies now, from hydration health, cognitive functions. There's just so much studies. Yeah,
booty building. Everything. We have a client that puts it in an actual mold for a butt.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm serious. So.
Yeah, the booty jars.
Yeah, it's one of
a lot of studies, and now that it's going from 5 grams, and some are doing claims now 10 grams, 20 grams. Yeah. So the material's gonna consistently still have high allocations.
How do you guys balance supply chain forecasting? Because if I was in your shoes, I'm like, okay, I need to buy as much protein as humanly possible, but you can't commit all your capital to just.
It's a science and an art form.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's tough. We've done good decisions and we've had bad decisions.
Yes,
more good than bad.
Win.
But we've learned year after year after year, quarter after quarter after quarter. So you just gotta hedge your bet when you feel the time is right. So it's not an easy decision by any means.
In 2026, protein prices will continue to climb.
Yeah.
Creatine prices should remain stable.
I think they're going to stay stable. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you have other brand manufacturers out there that are now coming out with their own patent creatines, which I think is going to be good for the marketplace. But yeah, I don't really see creatine going crazy.
Is there any other things in the supply chain you see like, oh, you guys should pay attention to this year?
I mean, we're trying to pay attention to everything, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
On your end, is there anything that you guys see with your ingredients that might be going up in price? Anything fluctuating?
I mean, with tariffs, hopefully they're figured out. But I think that's what threw a curveball to us the most last year was tariffs. And then Richard did a really good job at absorbing the cost as much as possible.
Right.
Until they're like we used to, they go, wait, are they going to stop with these tariffs? Because they kept going and going.
Yeah, I think everyone had a short-term outlook that, this might be gone in, a month, and it didn't go away. We're like, wait, this is here to stay,
Yeah.
And once the government's getting money, once any entity is getting money, how can you turn off that spigot valve? Like, why would we stop getting money? It doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a permanent part of our landscape.
Well, it sucks because
supply chain.
We're quoting products and ordering products that are let's say $500-$600 a kilo for some of these patent ingredients, and then that's what we're quoting. We get the POs, we send them to the raw material supplier. Oh well, there's a 40% tariff. You have to update this to $800 a kilo or $700 a kilo. I'm like, what the fuck?
Wait, have you actually seen that
this
large
happens
increase?
every week?
Wow.
Yeah. And half of it's probably fucking bullshit. We don't know the truth. We don't know, is this accurate? Like, how do we know you're actually being charged all these tariffs? There's no way to actually know. So we got to roll with the punches. Now we got to go back to our customers. I'm sorry, we have to update your, original sales order because we're getting hit with tariffs. We have to pass the buck along. So it's just been a complete shit show with all these tariffs.
Yeah.
The last year or so. Who knows? I mean, that's definitely been extremely challenging.
Keeps
to say
us on
the
our
least.
toes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope NuLiv doesn't call me and say we got some tariff prices.
No, just maybe just one price increase, one big price increase.
So as far as like ingredients go, I feel like you guys are always on the forefront of innovation. So a good question to ask is like, what do you see for innovative ingredients and trends for these next year or two? What would you say the industry's leaning towards?
Anything new and exciting that you guys are working on?
To me, it seems that I question how a lot of the companies have teams, and I'd like to be a fly in the wall and hear, like, do some companies just what you said, just wait for another company to set the market and then just copy them? Or is there a strategy going on? Because sometimes it seems like an idea comes out of the blue from a brand and then everyone else kind of follows suit. And I don't know if it's just to try to grab into that market share just because it's easy. But for us, it seems like every category it's developing. And then once it develops, it starts getting then more precise. As in, let's say, weight loss. You go, all right, we have an ingredient for weight loss. But for us, InnoSlim was kind of like, well, we might have to shelf InnoSlim for a little bit because all the GLPs, right? And with GLPs, how are you going to tell someone, no, I'll take this capsule instead of the shot? So what we saw with, like, let's say with GLPs, that category went down for a little bit, for maybe about a year and a half, and then started picking back up because then everyone was saying, okay, all I have to do is put GLP on my capsules. So then they started going, okay, instead of ketosis, the word is GLP. Instead of low carb is GLP. So then it feels like each category has to develop its own marketing, be established, and then becomes specialized. And that's where we come in to be like, all right, we have an ingredient for this particular market. Like if you really want to see collagen synthesis, we have this. If you really want to see sleep, we have this.
So for like GLP-1, for example, is there anything on the ingredient side that you guys would lean on for ingredients that would support that? Like with us, obviously it's increased with all the protein sales. And there's certain, products that we make that we feel like the ingredients might have a good impact for the GLP-1. Is there anything that you guys see on your end that's
we are studying
because of the GLP-1?
for GLP-1 this year. We're studying it's glucagon. It's the glucagon receptor. That's what we're going to be studying. Our labs just sent over what they're going to be researching in 2026. So what we're trying to do is, obviously we look at then pharma and you try to time your research with theirs and ride that wave, because the consumer may want the GLP, but maybe they're not going to go through the process of getting the doctor's appointment, doing that, but they'll go online and be like, oh, a GLP. Like one of the brands, I don't know if you guys ever seen this brand by Halle Berry. It's called Pendulum. It's a really cool brand. I don't know how involved she is with it, but it's just basically a GLP.
We can
brand.
quote it tomorrow, no problem. Boys.
It's a great brand.
Thanks for bringing that up. Holly, big fan.
Halle Berry,
big fan.
Pendulum.
I mean, when I joined NuLiv, like full time in 2010, there were maybe 100, 200 specialty ingredient companies. Now everyone has an ingredient, right? A branded ingredient. And one thing, like regarding the research side, right? Like we've had to discontinue ingredients in the past because just the research over time didn't pan out. So like research is a total crapshoot, right? Like we're lucky that our industry is not held to pharmaceutical standards. Because I don't know how many ingredients of the thousands out there now will muster like a phase 3 clearance from the FDA, right? So, when going back to ingredients research, I do see other companies investing in their actual own research versus using, borrowed literature. I do see companies hopefully taking some safety considerations, right? As they expand. So if you want to go into Australia or Europe, you're going to need this like gonna need the safety and toxicological data, right? So I think and it's good because I think it levels up the ingredient playing field overall for everyone. Same time said, there's gonna be a lot of people with they slap a name behind a plant, like, oh, I have a rhodiola extract, I'm gonna call it rhodiola super plus, right? But like when you like, okay, well, where's the data? Where's all the docs? Like So I just want to say research is really hard. Research, real is rare, right? Like we've had so many strikeouts there. We used to have a really cool immune product for angiogenesis, right? Like literally like stopping blood vessels growing to feed cancer, tumor cells, right? And then we worked in cell data, we worked in animal data, but once we got to humans, we couldn't show anything, right? So like, you just don't know until you. And the crappy thing is like, we're investing all this money into our research, into building out the safety, and we don't know if it's gonna work till like year 4 or 5. Some clients will jump on with us earlier than that, thankfully. And then you have other brands or other ingredient companies coming out there and they're like, hey, we have the same thing or we have a similar ingredient. But like, you didn't prove it along the way, you know? So to me, it's like what you said earlier with the people watching you and quoting something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's your innovators and then there's the imitators, right?
To some degree, yeah.
You're truly innovating. You're spending the time. You're spending the money. And then you have the other people who come out and they're like, okay, that market's out. The market's there. The product's out there. Let me just change it a little bit and throw it into the marketplace.
So yeah, and it takes time, and you don't know, and so when you do get there, though, you know, is that ingredient safe, right? Is it gonna be effective, right? Is the dosing always the same? The quality, are the actives always the same? So going back to specialty ingredients, branded ingredients per se, at least if you're dealing with a decent ingredient supplier, and there's plenty out there, right?
Yeah.
You know, like at least it's consistently batched and standardized. It's always gonna give you the same actives, right? Safe, whatever it's standardized to. So it goes into your product, so you know your supplement should work as intended, you know, for at least brand owners and companies that care about that, right? And I think as you level up and you grow, the audience is not dumb anymore, at least not everyone, right? They have ChatGPT too. They could quickly go, hey, what's this formula like? Is it effective for what my needs are, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I can't stand it when people send me fucking quotes that are done by ChatGPT. I'll look at it and
Do they at least change the font?
no. Like at least try to fucking hide it. At least put 2 spaces after the period. I mean, filter right through that shit, and I'm just looking at it and I'm like, okay, so you got an 18-gram serving size of all this shit for a pre-workout, and it says 25 milligrams of stevia. That shit ain't gonna work with 25 milligrams of stevia. Just shows you that ChatGPT doesn't know everything. But yeah, they sit there and they send me all sorts of crazy stuff, and then there's just page after page after page of, you know, the reasons why this dose is and what it should be interacted with, and I'm just like, man, this is just, none of it makes sense. So I'll sit there and try to, you know, reverse engineer and try to put in my 2 cents and, you know, rebuild it to where it's going to actually be better and what it was originally sent. But yeah, ChatGPT, man, I swear. I had this one customer that wanted to change something on one of our machines, and I'm like, well, you know, it's a very expensive part. It's probably going to cost like $30,000 or $40,000 to make it look the way you want. ChatGPT said it's only $100. I'm like, seriously? And the machine itself only costs $100,000. I'm like, oh my God, where do these people get this information from?
You should tell them to then print it. Tell them, print that formula.
Print that formula.
3D print it.
Oh my God, yeah, ChatGPT, man, it helps in some ways and hurts in others, dude.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
We appreciate you guys coming on, and I know you guys have places to be. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys.
Appreciate you guys coming on.
Appreciate the partnership.
Being remote, absolutely. It's always a pleasure with you guys.
Appreciate us. Thank you. Hanging on the Ritz Carlton, man.